So here we go. This is the box. This is what you're going to get when you buy one of these. You're going to get a box, and inside this box, which is, well done, is going to be a case. This is the case. And inside of this case, you're going to get this, which includes the AC adapter, 2 antennas, 2 handheld wireless microphones, some free batteries. They're free, so we'll just leave it at that. You are going to get just a 1/4 inch cable with it, about 3 feet long. That's part of what comes with the unit. You're also going to get, of course, the instruction manual. And there you go. You're all set, ready to go. I would recommend rechargeable batteries or some good AA batteries. Always have spares. The handhelds do have a battery indicator on them, so this way you can see what's going on battery-wise on the unit. But rechargeables allow you to always, cycle through. You want to start a show or a presentation with a new set of batteries or recharged batteries in the unit. So what can we do with this? Well, first of all, there's 3 ways of hooking the actual unit up. You can hook it up with the 1/4 inch cable that comes included. You can get yourself a longer one or a better one, your choice. It's unbalanced when you buy it, so that's cable number 1 is your choice. If we look at the back of the unit, on the back of the unit, we're going to see that there is 1/4 inch, which can be balanced or unbalanced. Usually, most people are using this when unbalanced. It's a short cable, that's all right. Then we have 2 XLRs, which are of course going to be balanced because they're XLRs. So on the outside, XLR for the mic 1 and mic 2, or A, B, your choice. The antennas will get screwed onto the back side and then pointed straight up. So, second cable would be a balanced 1/4 inch cable. Now you notice that's a mix. That means one cable is going to pull both signals through, so it only occupies one channel on your speaker. Now you notice I said speaker with that because on most mixers, you're always going to want to use XLR cables. So in which case, if you're using an XLR, you're going to want to buy 2 XLR cables or pull out 2 XLR cables out of your kit of cables and use that to plug this in from behind. That'll allow you to run both mics separately from each other, but it also gives you the ability to increase, decrease the gain, add effects to one, not to the other, do all kinds of stuff like that. So that's all the kind of options you can get with a system like this. Now, specifically for this system is going to be an instruction manual. Now the instruction manual is pretty easy for me to read through. Remember, you want to get to the very last page because that's where all the good stuff is. The first ones are telling you that, how to be safe, cautionary tales, all that kind of stuff. Very important. One of the caution things is for people in North America, we need to make sure that our UHF microphones are within the new license spectrum, which these are. This broadcasts between, and I have to check just to make sure, 480 to 530 megahertz. Now notice I said spectrum because it does have 100 channels preset into the system, and it also allows you to do 2 great things with that. One, I can auto scan to find the best signal, and the second thing is I can quickly sync that best signal with the handheld receiver just by holding it in front. So that's a big plus. Also, big feature is, when I was reading through it, is because this is digital, not analog, so that's kind of neat to know. With this system, you only have a 3 millisecond delay between the handheld and the base, which means 3 milliseconds if you're 100 feet away, 200 feet away, it's at the speed of light. 3 milliseconds, boom, it's going to happen. So quite an interesting fact, because of course if we were just out there with a megaphone yelling and we were 200 feet away, probably take 200 milliseconds for that megaphone to make enough noise for me to hear it 200 feet away. If I do this, it's kind of like taking a short path. Right here, 3 milliseconds, it's coming out of the speaker. You're not going to hear it. It's going to happen simultaneously virtually in that sense. So that's what's going on here. Range, which is what we just touched on, is incredible. You do want to be at least 3 to 5 feet away, if not more, from the unit. You want the unit to be at least 3 to 5 feet away from any bed of electronics, your mixing board and all your other equipment. So put it up on a shelf if you're using it in an indoor space, or just keep it off to the side of your table if you're using it as a DJ. So stacking inside of a rack with a whole bunch of other equipment, if it's not wireless microphones you're stacking it with, it's probably not a good idea long term. By all means, go ahead and try. That's your call. But you'll find if you do need that range, and 200 to 250 feet plus is a pretty good range, especially if you're outdoors, you're going to see those kind of numbers. What I really liked about it is that the fact that the construction is really, really good. It's not plastic, it's in a metal box. The antennas are adjustable and detachable, which is again another big plus of this unit here. You do have gain controls for both microphones, and you do have syncing capabilities independent for both microphones. Big, big plus. Now, for the handhelds themselves, not plastic, all aluminum. The bottom is where we're going to actually end up putting the battery. So we're going to unscrew the collar. That is going to open up this little pouch, which this comes off. Then we're going to have our two AA batteries located right inside. That also gives us, right at the bottom, our controls. So right at the bottom here, we're going to see where we have our basically menu options. And then we have our channel up and channel down. That's also how we do our auto sync or manual scan for channels. And it allows us to then sync it up with the unit itself. So I'm pretty excited about these. You might tell by the tone in my voice and what's going on. I think in this price range, you're doing incredibly an awesome job. Now, I have said this about some other brands, but when you're really topping up, this right now overrides anything else that I've seen in this price market. You're going to have to spend 3 times the price to get the same and maybe start to see better. Maybe. You'd really have to have them side by side to do a true comparison when it comes to doing that. So if you're looking for really good quality microphones and you want to have something that's going to be durable and last, but at the same time you want to have something that you can use live for talk or for singing or even karaoke. I mean, you're spoiling yourself if you're buying this for karaoke, that's for sure. If you're a church and let's say you need to have 4 or 6 or 8 microphones, you can buy 4 sets of these and just stack them up. You can buy more if you need to. Remember, there is 100 channels. As you sync each single unit, it can sync between the other boxes, whatever you have in place. So I've turned on the top one, I only need 2. I pull 2 of these out of my rack. I sync them up with what's on top. They're ready to go, and I just keep working down. I don't have to make sure that I'm using number 1 with number 1, number 2 with number 2. These things don't have to happen. Grab a mic, hit the auto scan with the auto sync, and it's just going to happen. Doesn't matter what receiver I have against what handheld mics I have. That's how straightforward it's going to be. That being said, let's actually get this a little bit closer so I can actually show you how the sync works. Okay, so right now, here we are. We've got a good close-up of the receiver and the handheld, and we're going to notice, if we can, that this one is channel 517.6, this one's 517.6, and it's all synced up. The other one matches up with channel A. So if we want to change this frequency, we want to make sure we have a good frequency here. All we need to do is hold down the unit. That's the bottom arrow. Let it scan. And then I'm going to turn this around because right here in front of here is the IR pickup for this guy here. So if I turn this guy around, we're going to wait for this to go through. And while I'm saying, it's going to scan through all 100 channels and it's going to go against what's going on in this building here. And it's going to do its best to find it. Now it's switched over to AI, which is auto syncing, and there we go. So now this guy here says 515.6, and if we turn this around, it now says 515.6. You want to have this within 3 feet of the receiver for that to happen. But that is as easy as it needs to be. Can you make it more complicated? I could have pressed the up arrow, I could have cycled through and gone through individual channels, and then I could have just had it sync the 2 units if I wanted to choose a channel manually. Sometimes that is a different way of doing it, but if you know that certain channels are giving you problems, but you know certain channels are really good, you can always go straight to that channel. That is how easy that is. So on the display, we've got an RF level, so how well is the actual signal, and then we actually have a signal level as well. So all of that's going on the top row displays. Of course, followed by the frequency, which we're looking at just below. On the sides, we have our level controls. Then we have our set, our arrow up and our arrow down. That's how we get to operate features like the manual scanning or the auto scan and the auto sync features all through there on both sides, of course. So again, here we go. Looking at the back, we've got our two antennas that are screwed in, and of course they just screw right in. So if I actually pull one off here just like that, just unscrew it. There we go. It's a B and C connector, so it's push and turn. That's all you have to do, nothing complicated, just push and turn, and it's back on. Our DC power supply, which is included, and it's 12 volts, but it does take 12 to 18 volts as a range, which is nice to see. Then we have our 2 XLR and our mixed output via the 1/4 inch. Now remember, the 1/4 inch is something we're going to want to use on speakers that have two options for microphone input. You can either plug a 1/4 inch into it, or you can plug an XLR. That's usually found on the back of power speakers or in a combo jack on a power speaker. If you have some karaoke systems that only have 1/4 inch jacks, this will work. For a mixing board, we're definitely going to be looking at the XLRs. If you look on your mixing board closely, you'll notice that the XLR plugs say mic input and the 1/4 inch inputs say line input. So very important to take note of that. All right, so I thought maybe you might want to actually hear what the microphone sounds like. So here I am about 20 feet away from the receiver, set up at the table. I'm down in the back, and here we go. Now, there's not a lot that we can really talk about, except for the fact that if you hold it too close and it's too modulated, you're going to get a bit of a puffy sound out of it. You might want to add a sponge onto it for that case. It's always good if you're handing the microphone out that you do that. It just helps smoothen it out. Now, remember, microphones are meant to be, you know, right into or slightly above. That's the best way I find it. Of course, if you hold it down here like you see on TV, you're not really, they want to see your face. They don't want to see the microphone. So you really have to crank it up if you want that to work. So what does cardio look like? This is what the cardio, if I'm pulling it up over and above, as long as I keep speaking into the microphone, I'm fine. So if I look away and I keep speaking in, I'm okay. I don't have to worry about it. The problem is when I start doing this, I'm just like holding the microphone and I forget I'm holding the microphone. Well, that really isn't too helpful now, is it? So I thought you might want to listen to it. You might want to hear what it sounds like. Now, remember, this is being done on an audio interface back into my computer and on Audacity. We're not tweaking it or changing it up a bit. I just thought you'd want to hear the full live actual sound of what it's like. So right now, if the links aren't down below or it doesn't pop up as the option at the end of this video, there are currently just 2 handhelds or 1 handheld option in this product line. We may see other models come down in the future, so I will tag it as the lead-up video in the next segment on top. But right now you're looking at 2 handhelds, and they are available from us here at Expert Island. And again, if you're a DJ or you're a church or you're looking at karaoke or need it for a hall or presentations or anything like that, and you want something reliable, dependable, and reasonably priced. This is an amazing part. We live at a time where they can make really good product, but not have to charge you this huge amount. So they've done a great job. They could have charged more. They didn't. I've talked to them about it, and their price is absolutely amazing. They sent us a sample. We bought into the product, so yes, it is available on our website. We'll also have links, so this way you can see it back at Blastking. And we're trying to make arrangements to have this available on Amazon.com, so this way you can just order it if you're in the US right from there. So there we go. If you got any questions or comments on this, you'll probably be seeing it pop up in other videos. So this isn't the last time we're going to talk about it, that's for sure. You can leave your comments down below. Remember to always hit that like button and thumbs up, because that's, you know, how it works. We are talking about, you know, YouTube or Facebook or whatever you're watching this video on right now. So hit that button. That's always important. Thanks for watching, by the way. I do appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.